Yeah, when I say your name, state your name and say here. Leonard?
Here.
Cindy?
Cynthia Minor here.
Okay, Heather Moore present. We also have with us, I see Matt Miner, Gary Denton, John Elwell, and Jim Cameron, and Sean Kyle. Okay, so we have a quorum. Item 1, are there any modifications or changes to the agenda?
Is this where I would bring up executive session?
No, nothing.
No.
Anything in executive session, we have to say in executive session.
No, I mean to table it until we have our other 2 members.
I don't want us to table. There's one item in executive session I do want us to discuss.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so there are no changes or modifications to the agenda. Item 2, public comment.
Hi, this is Jim.
Hi, Jim.
Hi, how you doing, folks? Is there a particular slot for EI tonight, John, or can I pipe in now?
There is a particular slot. As I indicated, there were several things ahead of the EI because you usually ask to be at the end of the agenda. But I guess you can ask the chair if you'd like to speak now, if she's willing to bump you up.
No, that's okay. I was just asking a straightforward question. Just go on with your agenda, Heather.
Okay.
Fine.
That works. So, yep. We have you down for number 7, Jim. So no public comment. Okay. Moving right along. Item 3, review and approval of the minutes from August 11th. Has everybody had an opportunity to review the minutes?
Yes.
Do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
I make the motion to approve the minutes.
Okay.
I second the motion.
Okay.
The motion.
Been approved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay. Minutes have been approved. Item 4, the Dropbox discussion.
I'd like to beg the board's forgiveness this evening. I do not have all of the research completed that I had hoped to have in preparation to present to you this evening. And if you are willing, I would like to have a little bit more time and perhaps make this presentation at the next meeting.
I'm fine with that.
Sure.
That's fine.
Do we need to make a motion or?
No, that's
We're fine with that?
fine. You don't need to make a motion.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Number 5, Vital Village Scoping Study Contract Amendment.
In the board's packet, you will see an amendment to the existing contract that we have with Dubois and King to do the Vital Village Scoping Study with us. We've had some contact recently with some administrative members of VTrans. They indicated to us that they were basically fine with the contract that we put together for Dubois and King, but there were a few things that they said were not in the contract that are actually required under the federal regulations. And so they requested that we put together this amendment that contained those specific languages and asked the board to approve that amendment. There's not really much choice. This language is required under the federal regulations, so it has to be in the contract. Sorry, we didn't catch that at the beginning and have it in the original contract, but they said it would be fine as long as the board approved this amendment, and then it just becomes an amendment to the contract. So hopefully that's okay with the board. We would need a motion by the board to approve that amendment.
A motion to approve the amendment.
I'll second that.
Looks fine to me.
Motion by Cindy, seconded by Leonard. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
And
Straightforward.
is the board okay with allowing me to sign on behalf of the village for the amendment?
Yes.
Yes, I was just going to ask if we needed to sign, but there's only room for one, so you got it.
Do we need to make a motion for that, John?
That wouldn't hurt.
Does anybody want to make a motion to have John sign on behalf of the board?
I make the motion that John signs on behalf of the board.
Is
I
there a
second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Okay. Item number 6, the 2020 road paving bids.
So if you guys flip the page in your packet, you'll see a memo from Gary Denton, who's present with us here tonight, as well as 2 bids that were received to do the 4 road paving projects that we had originally scheduled for 2020. So I think this is really good despite all of the setbacks that we've experienced as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. I still believe we're going to be able to get our 2020 road paving projects completed this year. They'll get done a little later than we had originally anticipated, but that's fine. I think it's really great that we're going to be able to get them done. So we invited 4 contractors to attend our pre-bid meeting. 3 came. Of those 3, 2 actually submitted a bid, and you have copies of those 2 bids in back of Gary's memo. So one was from Engineers Construction Incorporated for $191,375. The second bid, I'm sorry, go ahead.
If I could just make a note there, that's actually a typo and should be 191,975.
Okay, there was typo on the memo?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you, Matt. The second bid was from Pike Industries, and their bid came at $210,562. So the village would like to recommend acceptance of the low bid from Engineers Construction at $191,975. Gary, is there anything you'd like to add or discuss further?
No, we had engineers last year. They did a really good job. Either one of them, Pikes or engineers, are good contractors. And again, we budgeted $252,000 and we're way below our budget. So I think we're good.
All right, I was going to ask if they were okay, because there's a $20,000 discrepancy between their bids.
We had the same thing last year. They were about the same amount last year, below everybody else too.
Okay, and they work well?
Yes, I think they spent more time checking the streets out, doing measurements, see exactly what they had for quantities. I think they did a little more legwork than Pike did both years, this year and last year.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Great. Any further discussion? So I just want to clarify the cost, because I'm looking at is it 191,395?
Correct.
Okay.
95, okay.
Okay.
Yep.
I hit the wrong button.
That's okay. That happens. Okay. Okay. So is there a motion to accept the bid from Engineers Construction for $191,395?
I motion to accept the bid from Engineers Construction.
Motion made by Cindy. Is there a second?
I will second that.
Seconded by Leonard. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Motion approved. Okay, Jim. Enosburg Initiative Report, item number 7.
Yep. Hi, folks. How's your guy that got hurt last week?
Well, it's really a personnel issue, so we can't really give out any details about it in public.
It wasn't so much from a village perspective as a human perspective. Is he doing okay? Is he in the hospital? Is he home?
Understood.
Okay, fine. Yeah, just how's he doing? That was the question, not what happened or who's responsible. Just
Yeah.
how's he doing?
He's okay.
Okay, good. All right, probably not much new, but just to keep you updated. So we've been working on the fence on the rail trail. Gary did a drive-by and gave us a thumbs up that we were doing a hell of a job. And right now our next scheduled paint day is this Saturday. Last time I looked, it's supposed to rain Saturday, so that might get postponed, but we're working on that. Tied to that, I would ask the question, I know the bench issue's been out there for a while, and I heard it was getting very close as far as installing the bench by the kiosk. What's the status on the bench? That's a question. The bench that's supposed to come.
Yeah, so we got
FDIC.
our approval from VTrans about 2 weeks ago to move forward with that. We got the documentation signed. So Gary has been working with Ken LaPlante, the foreman for our Public Works Department. And the plan is, as soon as they get the opportunity, hopefully sometime next month, they'll install the bench and the 2 waste receptacles, one for a garbage can, one for a recycling bin.
Great. Great. Thank you.
Yep.
Work on the Masonic Temple continues. Sally and David won't let who comes to the site, just so to let you know. And that was a joke, everybody, for God's sakes, really, where, you know. And I've understood, although I haven't seen, I believe they're starting to build a new entranceway. They've installed a new door, etc. We've let them know directly that any help or assistance they want, all they have to do is ask, but they've just put their heads down and done the work, and so great for them. Great and good for them. We're going to have a kickoff fall EI meeting on September 10th, where we're going to hermetically seal any number of food objects and then pass them out to people to see if we can get them to show up for the hermetically. Okay, you get the idea. That food and public stuff doesn't. Never mind. Okay, will not be a strong night, and I'll just take another couple of minutes and I'll pretend my internet dropped dead, and I don't have to be.
Well, Jim,
so that's what's going
your
on.
internet is cutting out a little bit.
Oh, good. That's great. I couldn't be happy. Wait, can you hear me now?
Oh, we can hear you. There's just a little lag. That's all.
Okay. Yeah, well, I got Hughes Network now, so I'm screwed. So $70 a month for things that come and go. It's really a lot of fun. And let's see. I ordered the 2. Finally, I don't know why it took me so long, but I ordered the 2 bike repair stations, and they're probably today. They're about 6 to 7 weeks out. May go in this fall, may go in the spring, but those have been ordered and taken care of. I know there's a few more things going on, but I really am drawn dead tonight. Sean and I went to the opportunity for a new business to come into town has been out there. I mentioned to you before, and the idea is an art studio up over the top of the flower shop, and that is a friend of Betsy Dorminey's, who's an artist by occupation now. That's how he makes his living, and he's been very interested in renovating that space. We went up there 2 or 3 weeks ago with the owners and took a walk through and had a conceptual conversation, and that went very well. They're definitely interested in having somebody be there. And then Sean and I met this week and did a around the building walkthrough, I guess. And then we had a conversation with the fire marshal and the state electrical inspector to find out kind of what things might need to happen because of what they wanted to do there. And there's things for both of us to follow up on about that. The guy's serious. He's coming back up in September, October. He's a carpenter. He wants to do barter for work on the building to improve the building. The windows are still there. The original windows are there behind the plywood on both sides. And so that was kind of a nice, both money thing and historic thing that they were still there and could get used. It's a very pretty space upstairs. So that's something that we've been involved in. We've been on the porch talking. That's it. Unless someone can spark me or tell me something that, or ask me a question. I'm unstable now, right? That's what's happening.
I did have a question about the fence.
Unstable is a very good adjective for me, and I appreciate that label greatly. Thank you, Heather. I'm done. Go ahead.
Okay, I just had a quick question. There's a section of the fence that was still white. Was that left white just because there was stuff in front of it? Or
The people decide to have
we are
a,
such a good neighbor.
yeah, they had stuff hanging off the
Don't be
fence when they
snarky.
were painting.
We were going to have a yard sale, and it was our painting day.
okay.
So we were appropriately cooperative and let that sit. And it should be green right now. Ellen was supposed to go last week and make it green. And then when we have a moment, we're also going to do the fence down by the kiosk, John, where the bench is going. That's next. We'll get that fence painted and repair the board that has an elbow in it or something. So
Well, it looks great.
we'll get that next.
It looks great.
Yeah, it does look great. Nice thing to do.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm done.
Great.
I'm unstable and tired, and they're all my excuses. I can
Okay,
make up more.
Well, thank you, Jim. Good stuff. Okay, we are cruising along here. Item number 8, manager's report.
Thank you, Heather. First, I just want to let the board know that last week Governor Scott extended the state of emergency to September 15th. I just want the board to be aware of that so you know the dates that the state of emergency apply to. Probably won't be the last time. I'm pretty certain he will extend it again come September 15th, but that is the current date now that the state of emergency is in place. Also wanted to give you a little update on the utility bill relief program. So on August 18th, the state of Vermont announced its $8 million utility relief program for Vermonters that have been impacted by COVID-19. This was developed by the Department of Public Service. It's referred to as the Arrearage Assistance Program and includes federal COVID-19 relief fund monies as appropriated by the state legislature. There are a number of restrictions and requirements to the program, so we're urging customers to contact the DPS, excuse me, the DPS regarding customers' ability to qualify for the program. And the village has posted this information that was provided to us by DPS at several locations to inform our customers about this opportunity. So I had mentioned this, I think once or twice before at board meetings, that this program would be coming out. And so, you know, if a customer's got an arrearage in either electric or telephone, or I think gas also applies to it if you're a gas customer. You can qualify for this program, but as I mentioned, there are some restrictions. There's also a cap for both residences and businesses, so it's not just completely open-ended. I think the cap for residents is at $440, if I'm remembering correctly. So it's not going to make the problem go away, but it can help pay off some of the arrearages that customers may have as a result of COVID-19. But you do also have to show that you were actually negatively impacted by COVID-19. And the customer, I think I had mentioned this previously to the board as well, the customer has to be the applicant. The utility can't apply on behalf of the customer. The customer actually has to be the one to apply. But if the customer is awarded an amount from DPS, DPS will send the dollar amount, whatever they've awarded, to the customer directly to the utility. So that, I think, is a good thing. And the reason they've done that is to avoid, people receiving a check and then going and spending it on something else it wasn't intended for. So just letting you guys know that this program is out there now. It's being advertised, and we do have it on several locations within the village to try and educate our customers about what they need to do if they're interested in applying for the program. Next, I'm sort of broadening the horizons a little bit beyond our own front door, and wanted to talk a little bit, just give an update on the Navajo reservation in Arizona, in Utah, that APPA has been involved in. This is a subject that I've brought up, I think, twice previously with the board. So American Public Power Association, which the village of Enosburg Falls is a member of, has been honored by the American Society of Association Executives with the 2020 Summit Award. This award recognizes APPA's work on the Light Up Navajo project. The Light Up Navajo project is a mutual aid initiative to extend electricity throughout the Navajo Nation. Board members, as I mentioned, will recall that I brought this up in the past. And in particular, there's some interest, I think, for us and for this region, meaning New England, as Northeast Public Power Association, which the village of Enosburg Falls is also a member of, has sent multiple members from different utilities across New England to help support this Light Up Navajo project. In particular, there were quite a few public-owned electric utilities from Massachusetts that sent electric crews down to the Navajo reservation to help extend power throughout that sovereign nation. And it's it's a little odd for us to think about, but the Navajo Nation is one of the poorest reservations in the United States, and there are still huge tracts of the Navajo reservation that have never had electricity brought to them. So this has been, I think, a great boon for the people that live there on the reservation. And I've heard a lot of feedback directly from Bonnie Bioki, who's the executive director of NEPA, Northeast Public Power Association. And some of the anecdotal stories I've heard from some of the line crews in Massachusetts and Connecticut that went down there to help with this effort over the last 2 years have really been heartwarming. I mean, really been heartwarming, when they are able to bring power to a family that has never had electricity to their home, and this is the first time ever that they've had it. It's, it's pretty marvelous to them. And we as a nation, not so long ago, went through that whole experience. 100 years ago, most of America didn't have electricity in it. It was really just the cities. It was the large cities that had it. In our case, because we were way ahead of the times here in the village of Enosburg Falls, we actually had it because we here in Enosburg Falls developed our own electric utility. And Enosburg Falls Electric Department has been around since 1896. But, you know, in this area, in this part of Vermont and Franklin County, that was a novelty at that time. You know, most of the towns around Enosburg Falls in 1896 didn't have any electricity at all. So it was really a special thing when that happened here, and something I think we should all be proud of, that special history that we have here in Enosburg Falls, of taking control of our destiny and making our community what we want it to be. And with that, I think I will segue into kind of the last statement that I wanted to make tonight. And that was just a little reflection on these trying times that we're all living here. And these are trying times. The circumstances in the United States and the world that we're living in under as a result of the pandemic are indeed unprecedented, as been said many times. The way forward, however, during these times of anxiety, stress, and uncertainty is through cooperation, compassion, and understanding. We need a return to civility and teamwork. This will keep us together through this pandemic crisis. If we allow our fears to control us, the road to normal will certainly be a darker and longer one for all of us to bear. So I ask you, you know, choose your slogan, whatever positive message makes you feel good, whether it's think globally, act locally, teamwork makes the dream work, you know, etc. Whatever slogan speaks to you, take it to heart and act on it. Vermonters have a long history of persevering through tough times, and we will do that again if we work together. So I just wanted to get on my soapbox for a minute. I thank you for bearing with me, and that's all I have for manager's report.
Thank you, John. It's really good sentiment. A reminder we might all need. Yeah. Oh, okay. Any questions on manager's report? It's a good history lesson on the electric department. It was really neat. Good history for us.
Heather?
Yeah.
I didn't notice this earlier, but the agenda didn't have an item tonight for other business.
I just noticed
wanted
that.
Oh,
to make sure we didn't miss that.
my apologies. I guess I missed that. My mistake. I'm sorry for that. But by all means, if you want to call for other business, Heather, please do.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that. Is there any other business to discuss before moving on to executive?
I think Sean
Okay,
Kyle
Sean.
has his hand raised.
Got it. Hello, everyone.
Yeah.
I'm wearing my economic development hat tonight. A grant opportunity came across my desk yesterday. It's by the Agency of Commerce and Community Development. It's titled the Restart Vermont Regional Marketing and Stimulus Grant Program. Looking at it, there's a few different choices that we could use it for. And I wanted to make the trustees aware of it, because I would need a part of this, and what in speaking with other municipalities, what many municipalities are doing is using a similar St. Albans model of downtown dollars. Is anyone familiar with that program?
Yep.
So basically, they started with a pool of money, and they created these vouchers or monopoly money, and with the intent of driving traffic to local businesses, as well as increasing the revenue of what individual visitors spend. So we have an opportunity to complete this. I've been working on the grant yesterday and through today. What I'm asking of the trustees is a letter of support. I have a few different, obviously the Enosburg Business Initiative, and as well as the EI. Jim, I think I sent you an email earlier. You know, asking for, you know, some support in doing this. It's one of those CARES Act funded programs, so the money has to move really quickly. This program has to be pretty much in place and executed by November 15th, which doesn't leave a lot of time, but I think that's something that is doable. In completing the grant, I'm not asking for the full amount, so I don't think we would be able to spend all of it. But if we were able to inject a few $1,000s into the local economy, I think that's beneficial. And the idea is to target those businesses who are of most need. Retail, lodging, and restaurants are the primary targets for this program. But it's going to take a little bit of legwork to get it done, but it's an opportunity. There's no match, so there's really no, there's not a lot that, you know, out front the community is to get behind, but I want to make sure that the trustees are aware this is a program that I'm working on, and I'm requesting a letter of support for it. And I can forward more details to the village staff for exactly what I'm working on. I was quite literally, as of 4 o'clock today, kind of finalizing my first draft of this.
Sean,
Yeah,
can
go.
I ask a question? So it's the town that would be officially applying as a
Yep,
municipality?
but because it specifically asked, is this, let me find it here in the grant. Yeah, if this project will serve a designated downtown or village center, the Village of Enosburg, so it does indicate that that the, you know, it is specifically, it's one of those criteria questions. Is it in support of a downtown or village? So hence why I'm asking for a letter of support from the village, because this is something that's going to affect the majority. It's not necessarily going to be solely for village businesses, but we know the majority of the businesses downtown will likely be most affected. So I wanted to make sure that you guys are aware and ask for a letter of support.
And is this something that, like, a letter of support would come from a trustee specifically, or John?
Well, I guess my suggestion would be, if the board is in favor of this, is, you know, Sean and I, or a combination of staff members, could put together a letter, and I could sign it as village manager in support of the grant application. And of course, we'd put it on village letterhead, and, you know, so that it looked official.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Does anybody else have any other questions? No. So do we need to do a motion for this then? Right now?
Probably be appropriate.
Okay. Okay, is there a motion to write a letter of recommendation on behalf of the village to support this grant opportunity?
I make a motion that the village manager write a letter of support for this grant.
Okay, is there a second?
I will second that.
Seconded by Leonard. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion's been approved.
Thank you.
Woohoo. Good luck.
Yeah, it's due Monday.
Of
So,
course.
yeah, of course. It's one of those ones
Naturally.
It's only Tuesday. It's all
Yeah.
good.
without a match, and you know, something that, you know, just to inject and kind of jumpstart some economic activity. I felt it was worthwhile in the scramble to try to get something going.
Mhm.
You know, while we didn't have a downtown dollars program previously established, it was something that we could piece together over the next month and launch by October 1st. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Awesome. Okay. Up next on the agenda is item number 9, executive session personnel. Is there a motion to go into executive session?
I make the motion, we go into executive session.
Okay.
A second.
And seconded by Cindy. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Time for us to go to executive.